Howdy, folks. I'm Colonel Sanders, and you're not. I was asked 1,000 times by many people what I thought about this commercial and what's up with it. As I said before, I don't work for Kentucky Fried Chicken. They do not employ me. I do not represent them. Would I like to? Yes, I think I'd do a better job and bring more respect to them than this kind of stuff. Anyways, I was asked about that commercial. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's stupid, but I don't got a problem with it. I could do the commercials better. I could do what Uncle Harley did, which is what sold the chicken the most, was him just being himself and being real, showing the kitchens, showing the food quality, showing how to make it, and then using him to tell people to go get it. I haven't been the biggest fan of Kentucky Fried Chicken my entire life, only the last few years. Where was the outrage with the commercials from eight to 9 years ago? Now, before I get into this, Kentucky Fried Chicken and I are good. We made good on that. I spent a long time talking bad about them and upholding the legacy so that I could show people who Colonel Sanders actually was over these ads. And when I did that, I was initially met with thousands of people hating on me, disrespecting me, telling me to get over it, that my uncle had sold it, yada, 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 just all kinds of hateful, disgusting comments. For instance, they turned him into a stripper for Mother's Day. They displayed this in front of the children in the Colonel's family. They displayed this in front of everybody in the Colonel's family. They displayed this in front of the franchisees that worked with Colonel Sanders, the people who knew him and worked closely with him, the people that he changed their lives forever for the better. A man that donated almost all of his money because there was no point being the richest man in the cemetery. Not just to charities, but random people going to college paying for their entire tuition, which is why the KFC Foundation exists today. They took a man like that and turned him into a young, buff stripper. Displayed that in front of the family. I was outraged by it. My family was disgusted by it. We spoke out against it. Everybody else loved the commercial, encouraged more of it. It became a meme, and my family got hate for not liking it. Or the romance novel. Or the Mario Lopez thing. The George Hamilton thing. I didn't have a big problem with George Hamilton, but it did make my family a little uneasy seeing Uncle Harley displayed like that. What about the commercials that pinned him as a pervert, like the Daryl Hammond commercial that first came out? Everybody loved that one too. My family didn't. Nobody was outraged by it. We're boycotting KFC now. People are boycotting KFC over this commercial of dipping the person in the oil and pulling them out as chicken. I haven't even seen this on their official page. I could be wrong, but I haven't seen it. So I'm not even sure if that's AI or if it's a fan-made thing, or maybe it is a real commercial. I don't know. But this is what everyone's outraged about. This is what's getting people talking. Not the family speaking out about how the Colonel was disrespected for years. It took a long time for me to get people's attention on it and to finally talk with the brand to sit down and discuss our issues with it and then put it behind us. But the point is, the commercial sexualizing the man, displaying that in front of children, not just the family of the Colonel or the children within the family, but other children across America and the world, displaying that. Kevin Hochman was the man in charge of that stuff. Needless to say, he's no longer in it. Nick Chavez took over. He did excellent with commercials, and now he's no longer with Kentucky Fried Chicken. He's moved on. But we're upset about this commercial, whether it's real or not. And I'm being tagged in, and people are outraged, saying I'll never eat at KFC again. This is disgusting. Where was that outrage when I was boycotting the brand, before I was friends with them, when I was boycotting them for disrespecting the founder's image the way that they were? Where was that? What about the time they turned him into a bearskin rug that you yourself could buy, and the advertisement for that was a suggestive image of a man and woman in lingerie getting ready to make sweet, sweet love on top of the Colonel in front of a fireplace? Now, I've been defending Kentucky Fried Chicken and their food over the last 3 years. There's a couple locations, especially one right next door to me, that doesn't do too good. Where's the outrage on that one? Now, there's a lot of people in town that are outraged about it, but it's not being talked about as much as this commercial. These locations that are cutting corners need to be talked about more, attention brought to it more, so the brand knows, hey, maybe we should fix this. But we're worried about that commercial. Y'all are worried about those kind of commercials. Petition to have KFC hire a member of the Colonel's family, particularly me. I am a Colonel and I am a Sanders, passionate about the whole thing. Petition to have them hire me as their spokesperson to represent them. Where's the outrage when I talked about the impersonators that they did employ to impersonate Colonel Sanders for events and commercials? that were perverted, stalkish, harassing, and very uncomfortable. I was met with a lot of hate when I talked about that. So these are actual issues other than this potential alleged KFC commercial that I think is AI. I could be wrong again, but I think it's AI. Meanwhile, they have actual grown men in their 60s and 70s impersonating the Colonel, fighting with each other like children on who has the right to dress like him more, trying to use me when I was younger until they learned that I can do it myself and, put my family history out there myself without having to have somebody like them do it. So then they go to slander me to try to get me out of the picture because they're afraid I'm going to take their job or potential of their job being Colonel Sanders. I mean, this is just ridiculous stuff. Where's the outrage for that stuff? But we're worried about this commercial of dipping a person in oil, lifting them up with a giant golden egg behind them. It's kind of comical, actually, saying believe in chicken. So we're not worried about the real people that harass other impersonators, that work for the brand, that harass kids that dress like the Colonel too at these Colonel Fest and the Chicken Festival. They don't like it when the kid wins the Colonel Sanders lookalike contest. And these people did represent Kentucky Fried Chicken. I had to make a big deal about it, but a lot of the people online hated on me for disliking it. I didn't like the grown men fighting with me, slandering me, and then taking my uncle's image as their own and trying to be all famous about it. I didn't like them harassing the little kids that like to dress like the Colonel for those family events in London, Kentucky, and Corbin, Kentucky. And yet they post as if they're employed by Kentucky Fried Chicken as brand ambassadors. Where's the outrage of that kind of marketing? Y'all want to see different ads. You need to show the brand because they're trying to appeal to you. The outlandish things that this generation is into. The idiotic things that this generation is into. They're trying to appeal to our generation with these stupid commercials, with the misrepresentation of Colonel Sanders. As for the brand ambassadors, they're just clowns for hire that they use for certain events. And they let that go to their head. And I don't think they should even give them any kind of representation of the company because they overuse it. So y'all want better ads. Petition to have an actual Colonel Sanders from the family represent Colonel Sanders and his values in the company. And then we could quit pouring money into these advertisements that people are obviously hating now and start focusing on the food and quality control. So again, I ask, we have this big issue with this commercial. I'm being hounded by folks and fans of what I think about it and if I approve of it and what the company was thinking. I don't know what they're thinking. They're freaking moving to Texas. I'm worried about upholding Uncle Harley's legacy and that if the brand isn't going to uphold it properly, then I'm going to do it here in the heart of Kentucky. But I also want to point out the good franchisees that are out there working hard that don't get the credit they deserve because all these bad ones, like my local one, that's giving them a bad name and everyone's spreading it around online. I see hundreds of comments, people saying no KFC is good. That's unfair to the ones that are good, and there are good ones. And it's because of those good ones is why I still defend them. That's why I'm still passionate about it. It's why I haven't lost all hope for the corporation and Uncle Harley's legacy within it. I learned about the KFC Foundation. It doesn't get the publicity that it deserves. The KFC Foundation that they have within the company to help people in the company and local communities does not get the publicity that it deserves. And it upholds Uncle Harley's values more than anything else in the company. But not many people are talking about it. Like Uncle Harley said, after selling out to several different hands over the years, we've just gotten away from doing things right, and that includes commercials. Did you know out of 25,000 locations worldwide, only 1% is owned by corporate, the rest are franchisees, and each franchisee operates differently. Each franchisee's customer service operates differently. Each franchisee is responsible for their own marketing in their own areas, just like Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. The corporate commercials that are posted online and on television and on the radios, those are corporate's marketing. If you want better corporate marketing, petition them to show them that this generation wants something real like me. And until I see a push for that, I'm not really going to care if people are upset with the ads or not. I dealt with 8 years seeing disrespectful ads towards my family and Uncle Harley. They finally stopped. This didn't disrespect Uncle Harley because they didn't use him in it. I'm focusing on the legacy and the food.